Hi folks, Minimalist Shaver here for your shave of the day for September 11th, 2015. Hello everyone. So today is just a shave of the day, no full review for today. But I'm going to be using the Mitchell's Wool Fat shaving soap today. Mitchell's Wool Fat, you'll get more information in the review, but it is certainly one of my favorite shaving soaps. I mean, it's a fabulous soap, and for someone like me who has sensitive skin, it's a great soap, certainly for those with sensitive skin, because it's so mild. For a while, it was one of my favorite soaps. It was my number one for a short time, but that was until I discovered some of the French shea butter based soaps like Provence Santé and Occident Cade. You know, but it's still certainly for me a soap that is right up there in terms of performance and face feel. But I would have to rank it, you know, just one step below those two French soaps that I've tried. Okay, so anyways, a few things I wanted to talk about this morning. First thing that I wanted to mention is, of course, today is September 11th, so it is the 14th anniversary now of the attacks in New York City. So, you know, we should take a moment to pause and remember the victims of 9/11. And just remember the terrible event that happened on that day. So it has been 14 years. It's amazing how time flies. I think a lot of people remember where they were on that day when they heard about the attacks. I was at work in Toronto, and I worked at a bank. I was working at a bank at that time, and one thing, you know, we had the news on in the branch. You know, it was before the bank opened, and I remember my manager making a lighthearted, you know, joke after I think it was after the first plane hit a building. You know, so I didn't find that funny at the time, and then in retrospect, obviously that was a very ill-timed attempt at humor on his part. But anyways, we have to remember what happened, and you know, we have to remember how this has impacted our lives and society. The other thing I wanted to talk about, you know, on a more positive note, would be the practice. I don't know if any of you have done this before, but there is a way to earn some money by transferring your brokerage accounts from one brokerage to another to qualify for some promotions. So I started to utilize some of these promotions here in Canada, and I know they certainly are also available in the US as well, and probably in other countries too. So just to give you an example, like for example, there might be a promotion to transfer $100,000 of new assets into Brokerage X and you have to agree to keep your funds there for a period, let's say 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, they may credit your account with $200 or $300 or something. So that would be an example of this type of promotion. And usually, the more that you transfer, the higher the bonus will be. And the bonus is usually paid in cash. But sometimes it's paid in other forms like gift cards or whatnot. So there is some work involved in terms of setting up the new account, transferring the assets, making sure everything goes through before the deadlines. But if things go smoothly, you can find that it can be a good way to earn a bit of extra money. And like on a per hour basis, the rate can be quite good, right? If you can make $1,000 or so tax-free income, that's pretty good. I believe it's tax-free. I don't know. I'm not an accountant, so that's my disclaimer. One good site in Canada that you can go to kind of keep abreast of these offers is called Sparks Trading. I'll link to that, but it's Sparks, S-P-A-R-X Trading, and they list all the promotions in Canada on a monthly basis. So that would be a great resource for those in Canada, and I'm sure that there are similar websites in the US. So these offers can be good if you're not a really active trader, right? So if you don't mind not having access to your account during the transfer period, these can be good offers. However, I do want to stress, the amount of time it can take for a transfer to go through. I had one recently completed. It took a very long time. A month plus a week. So you're looking at about almost 40 days for mine. That took a very long time. We have to be prepared for these transfers to take up to that, up to a month or so even. So in other words, you have to initiate everything well in advance of the deadlines. And as I mentioned, usually you have to agree to keep your funds at the new brokerage for a period of 6 months. So realistically, if your money is locked in for 6 months, at the most, with the same dollar, you could only take advantage of 2 offers a year. It's kind of in the best case scenario, right? So that is assuming that you're finishing an offer, and there's another attractive offer available right away. Which is not always the case, right? Because the offers do vary and they change. So on a percentage basis, I mean, the payouts are very low. You know, for example, if you use even $1,000 on $500,000, it's a very low percentage. But $1,000 is $1,000, right? I mean, that's extra money in your pocket. The other proviso is that usually these offers are only for non-registered funds. So your RRSPs and your tax-free savings accounts and your RESPs, they usually don't qualify. Okay, so that's another condition to keep in mind. But by all means, you know, look into it, see if it makes sense for you. Oops. And some people just most people I guess like to stay with the same institution, keep things as they are. I mean, I can certainly understand that. But for me, to earn that little extra, is really a nice bonus for me. I'm going to see how it goes and see how much time is involved. There's an interesting one on right now by Questrade, Canadian brokerage. They're offering an Apple iWatch for those who transfer in over 100,000. Now they don't actually send you the iWatch. They send you a $500 Apple gift card, which I think is enough to cover the iWatch. I'm not sure. That's just an example of a rather rich promotion. I qualified for a few promotions quite a while ago, about 8 years ago. And I remember one was especially lucrative. It was 1% bonus on what you transferred in. Yeah, that was 1%. That was by RBC Direct Investing 7 or 8 years ago. And 1% can be quite attractive. So let's say you transfer in, I don't know, $250,000, that was $2,500. So that was very attractive. I haven't seen anything that attractive in a long time, but you never know. Something like that may come back. So keep your eyes out for those offers. Alright folks, that's all for today. Have a great day, have a great shave. See you tomorrow.